Ever since the day I was born, something stirring in my soul. Feel it burning in my bones when I hear that whistle blow. Got my ticket in my hand, packed up everything I own. Chugging full steam ahead, like a locomotive I'm gone. And it's a long ride, traveling down these tracks alone. But I'll be alright, got my guitar on my back, rocking like a rolling stone. That's just the train I'm on. Good morning. Good morning. First of all, I just want to say it's a pleasure and it's an honor to be here. Anytime I get the opportunity to share my story, I get excited about it because I'm a passionate person and I'm passionate about my story and what it's done for my life, and hopefully it can affect some other people's lives. Kind of my topic or my theme is rise and shine. And you've probably heard that phrase before in your life at some point in time. I know I used to hear it a lot when I was a kid growing up, and I would usually hear that term right before either my mom or one of my older brothers would drag me out of bed to get ready for school. Sometimes rising and shining is not the easiest thing to do in the morning to get up and get going, especially for me being a musician. This is still not even my get-up time. This is not rise and shine time for me. And so it makes it hard sometimes, but then when you equate that particular theme or phrase to life, sometimes it can be even tougher than that. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my story, my rise and shine moment. Like he said earlier, I'm originally from Hickory, North Carolina. Okay, nobody knows. From Hickory, North Carolina. It's a little ways down the road. We were known for textiles and furniture when I was growing up there. And I'm from a blended family of 12 children. I was raised by my mother, who even to this day can't read or write, but for some reason, in some way, found a way to put food on the table, clothes on my back, and make sure I got to school and rise and shine every morning to get to school and do what I needed to do. But growing up in the projects of Hickory, North Carolina, there was a lot of things that I was noticing about the environment and where I was at. And two of those things that were major influences in that was all I was seeing was death and destruction. See, at the age of 14, I lost my first, one of my older brothers. And then later, I would lose another brother to the streets. And then later, I would lose two of my younger brothers to incarceration. And so this is what I was seeing day in and day out. You know, I grew up in a family where selling drugs and violence and those things were just as common as you turning on the television in your home. And I remember thinking to myself that that was my options in life. You know, I was either going to end up dead at a young age or I was going to end up incarcerated. But something amazing happened, and it's one of the 3 points I want to focus on here today in the rise and shine journey of life. The first thing was I discovered the creator of all good things. You know, I discovered the grand designer of this world, of who I am as a person, and the giver of purpose. And this at a young age happened for me through the Salvation Army. It was a church organization that during the holidays when my family couldn't afford food on the table or clothes or Christmas presents, they helped make that possible. And not only that, it was a church organization where I started attending and learning more about God. And this particular discovery in my life was, to me, the most important thing that ever happened in my life. It gave me a new focus, a new vision, a new outlook on possibilities in life. See, before that, all I saw and all I knew was death and destruction. But then I started reading words in the Bible that would say, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he'll direct your path. And then I would hear words like, for I have plans for you to prosper, says the Lord, plans to give you hope and a future and not to harm you. And so I was hearing these words, but when I walk outside of my door every day, and sometimes even in my own home, I was seeing just the opposite. So you can see how that can be a little conflicting for somebody growing up and seeing these things. But I continue to read and grow and study and learn more about God. And another tool that came very important in my life was the Boys and Girls Club, which I'm alumni of, and I grew up. I remember when I was growing up in the projects, there was this big white bus that used to come down into our projects and just scoop up a bunch of kids and whisk off. And I was what you call a latchkey kid. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but during this time, it's like my mom would work. I was supposed to take the key, go inside, do my homework, and do not open the door for anybody. But I remember looking out the window and seeing this big white bus pick up all these kids and whisk off. I didn't know where they were going. Disney World? I don't know, but everybody looked like they were super excited to be leaving, and I wanted to do that. So a pivotal point came in my life where I had to choose, was I going to listen to mom and stay at home, or was I going to get on this big magical ferry bus ride to this magical place I saw all these other kids going? And I disobeyed my mother, and I hopped on that bus one day, figuring I could get back before she gets off work, and it introduced me to the Boys and Girls Club. And this place became a place of refuge for me. It was where I made the second discovery in my life, is what my passion and my gift was. And that's where I discovered music. I was sitting there for hours and continue to write poems and my feelings down on paper. And those poems became songs, and those songs became things that I would sing. And so after I had this great discovery of God and His Word and the things that He was telling me, and then also this gift and this passion to play music, I felt like I was ready to take on the world. I was the first one in my immediate family to graduate from high school. And I remember thinking that was a huge accomplishment. But it also triggered something in my mind. It's like, you know what? If I can do that, maybe I can do more. So, unfortunately, back then we didn't have Google or, GPS and that kind of thing. But I just knew from watching television. This is when you used to turn the television with your hand like that. I don't know if anybody remember those good old days. But I remember looking on television and thinking if I wanted to become a big-time musician or a big-time entertainer, I needed to go to Hollywood, California. Now, keep in mind, I had never been outside of Hickory, North Carolina. So what I did was I worked that summer after I graduated from high school, saved up a lot of money, and got me a one-way Greyhound bus ticket to Hollywood, California. I didn't know it was going to take 2.5 days to get there. And I remember stepping off the bus when I got to L.A., and I had just a bag with me of my clothes and money in my pocket. And I was pretty confident. You have that young, blissful ignorance, I like to call it, that I was going to be able to take on the world. And, of course, I was going to be able to because in my wallet I had $400. Everybody knows that's enough to make it in L.A. And but I found out really quick after a few days' time, $400 was not enough money. The April Fool's joke was on me. And so after that time, I found myself homeless in L.A. for the next 2 years. I would find myself sleeping in squats, abandoned buildings, out on Skid Row. Another organization called the Covenant House was instrumental in just keeping a roof over my head. And I remember during this time thinking, man, what about all these words that I was reading? And I almost fooled myself into believing that death and destruction wasn't the path for me. And I was like, maybe I was wrong about that. But it was during this low point in my life that those words that I remember from God's Word started ringing true to me again. And I started seeking those out. And I also made the second biggest discovery in my life, which was what my purpose is. See, rise and shine, the thing for me comes from why do we get up every day? What is our why in life? Why do we continue to get up and we go to our jobs or we take care of our families and we do the things we do? Which is this why component. And I finally figured out what that was. And then for a moment, I thought it was music. But I just realized music was going to be the gift and the tool that would take me into my why. My why was people. I love people. I love interacting with people. I love encouraging people. And I know there's been people along the way who constantly spoke positivity in my ear when I was seeing negativity all around. And it changed my life. And I wanted to do that to somebody else. I wanted to do that for other people. I wanted to be what I would call somebody's hero. I guess you can say I am afraid of the man I haven't been. I guess you may feel that I haven't been real, just hiding from everything. But the weight of the world is waiting on me. Stop wearing my heart under my sleeve. 'Cause I was meant to fly, meant to shine. Gotta find the better man in me before I die. Even if I bleed, just gotta be somebody's hero. Oh. So I started thinking in my mind that my gift and my purpose were lining up to be that for somebody else. Throughout my life, places like the Salvation Army, the Boys and Girls Club, God, and what I've learned through His Word have been heroes in my life, places of refuge. And it took those moments where I felt like death and destruction were only my options, and it obliterated that. It gave me new outlook, new purpose, a new why to get up every day. And so after my 2-year stint in L.A., I kind of gathered myself and regrouped, and I made my way to good old Nashville, Tennessee. Love is a burning thing. It makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Went down, 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 the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. I bet a lot of you did not expect to see that. For a lot of different reasons. So I make my way into Nashville, Tennessee. And if you ever get to Nashville, Tennessee, you see on 2nd Avenue and Broadway, people out there sitting on the side of the street with their guitar cases and what we call busking, just playing for money on the side of the street. And I remember when I got there, I was thinking, okay, well, this is my first gig. This is what I need to do. And so one night I was out there playing, I was singing, and this guy kind of walks by, a gentleman with a big old black cowboy hat and handlebar mustache, which describes about a third of Nashville. And he walks by and he kind of stops and he listens and he takes $100 out of his wallet and throws it into my guitar case. And so I see that $100, and so I'm pulling out all the stops now. And he kind of stops and listens, and we converse, go back and forth. He grabs the guitar, we jam for a couple hours, and then he says, I want you to come hang with me. I got some friends of mine. We play at this place inside called the Pub of Love, and you don't have to sit on the street. People would listen to you. You have a gift, you have talent. And I didn't know who it was at the time, but I later found out it was a gentleman by the name of John Rich from a country duo called Big and Rich. And my career took off from that moment. He introduced me to his counterpartner, Mr. Big Kenny and Gretchen Wilson, James Otto, the whole music mafia clan, which is why I have this big old blinding, blinging ring on my finger today. But it was a group of musicians who were all about music without prejudice and just promoting good music. And it was kind of like a brotherhood. And I remember that happening for me, and it totally taken my life on this roller coaster ride. From that moment on, I secured my first publishing deal back in 2004, and I've done nothing but music since then. I was signed to Warner Brothers with a country trio called The Farm. I was able to go on tour with John Legend and countless other artists. And I say all those things not to boast, but just to show you the process of the rise and shine. When you discover the giver of purpose, when you discover what your purpose is, and then you live that purpose out, it's limitless what you're capable of doing and the possibilities in life. And I've seen it firsthand just coming from the situations where I came and where I am today. And so I continue to use this tool of music and this ability to go back and spread the good news that no matter what your situation is, no matter where you come from, no matter what you might have been through, there's always hope in the fact that there is a creator that loves you and wants the best for you, plans to prosper you, to give you hope in a future. And just as a sidebar, just in case you didn't know, I went to seminary as well, so it's not like it's like so that this good Father wants nothing but goodness for us, and He has created us each for a purpose. And when you live in that purpose and you walk in that purpose, you are shining. And the cool thing about shining, a lot of times it can be a scary thing, but what it does, it liberates other people to shine. There's a quote by a lady named Marianne Williamson that kind of paraphrases, says, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, but that we're powerful. But there's a power that lies in each one of us. And when you tap into that and you're not afraid of that, you shine. And by shining, you liberate other people to do the same thing. I just the other day, I watched a young man play for a high school basketball team who had no arms and could shoot three-pointers 10 times better than I could. But seeing that liberated me. It's like, well, what is my excuse? When this person is able to step out and do this and go above and beyond, it liberates you to do the same thing. So I like to close with this song that's called Shine. And Rise and Shine, the theme of what I want to speak about today is just saying no matter what your circumstances, no matter whatever you're going through, what things might appear to be, walking by faith and not by sight, when you can grow, rise above that occasion, shine, and liberate other people to do the same. Rain, it's just one of those things. Some days you got it, but hey, oh, hey, it's only here because somebody taught it. See, how can you learn the lesson of love if you choose to hide in the dark? Shine, so everybody can shine too, yeah. Open your heart and lead the way. You don't have to be afraid. It's in you to rise high above your greatest fears, yeah. And with a little bit of light, you can make it brighter here. Oh. So everybody shine, shine on. Shine on, everybody shine, shine on, shine on. Everybody shine, shine on, shine on. Everybody shine, shine on, shine on. Everybody shine.